The KLE 500. I've got over 700 miles on her now. And I made a video the other day there, and I really didn't talk much about the bike. I kind of just touched on a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But the KLE is the perfect bike for somebody that is kind of moderate, okay? For somebody that likes to do some road riding, for somebody that likes to do some twisties, some tight cornering stuff. This thing handles really well in corners. Somebody who likes to do gravel roads, and somebody who likes to do some really light duty, and I'm saying light duty, off-road. This thing is capable of doing all of that, okay? It's just a kind of a middle of the road, do everything bike, and it's so easy. It's so easy to handle. It's lightweight. I just turned around here, and this ground here was kind of soft a little bit, and I was kind of worried about maybe that front end sliding out from underneath me, but it didn't, and it done a real good job. I'm not going to call this a beginner bike. I mean, if a beginner bought a bike like this, they wouldn't have any trouble, okay? Just plain simple. But with that being said, if you're a beginner, learn how to ride a bike, and always be cautious. And the thing of it is, they talk about beginners, and the thing they don't tell you about being a beginner, every bike is different. Every bike handles different. Every bike has its own personality, its own characteristics. Okay, and so I don't care how long of a rider you've been riding or how good you think you are. You can be the world's best pro, and when he gets on a bike that he's never rode before, he's got to feel it out. Okay, he might have enough experience, but it don't take him very long, but he's still got to feel it out. And anybody that just gets on the bike there and doesn't have any idea how, what they're getting onto, and just goes out there and just goes hell-bent for Texas, I'd say that's pretty stupid, but that's just my opinion. So, but anyway, any bike that you get, you've got to learn its personalities. You've got to learn its traits. You've got to learn your personality and your traits, what you can do on that bike, okay? Whenever you ride a motorcycle, it's not just a matter of jumping on two wheels there and going out there and running down the road. It's almost like you've got to, it's like a friendship, okay? You've got to become friends with that bike. You've got to mix with that bike. You've got to become part of that bike. You've got to feel that bike, and it's got to feel you. It's almost like a marriage or partnership. It's not just jumping on there and going out there hell-bent for Texas. So and that's what I'm saying. This bike is a good bike, all-around bike, for anybody that's just wants to get out there and do a little bit of everything, and it does about everything, and it does everything pretty good. But with that being said, every motorcycle has its limits. It doesn't make any difference what one it is. Whenever you get off the middle ground and then you start going to the extremes, every bike has its limits. We'll just say, if you're going to go for, well, I'll tell you what. So if you take a Hayabusa, okay, which is, it's fantastic on the road. I've seen people do wheelies on them, so like this, and they're great. Take my hat off to them. I can't do it, but they can do it, and they're fearless. But you take that same Hayabusa and you take them into a single track, and they might have a little bit of problems, okay, because the bike's not designed for that. I'm not saying they don't have the ability. I'm just saying the bike's not designed for that. So it's like this bike is a middle of the road. It's a do everything, and it'll touch just about anything that you want to do. Okay, it's lightweight. Now I've rode this thing. I've got 700 miles on it, and like I said, I put my highway pegs on it, which for me made a big difference. What you do to yours is entirely up to you. But I did that because I like to change positions. I like to stretch my legs. The seat on this thing does get a little hard, and I thought maybe it'd get better after it broke in. It's not bad, but it's not great, so I will look around maybe to find something aftermarket that's just a little bit different. But see, then there again, you've got to be careful. If you're going to go for something, say if you go with a wider seat that's got more comfort, you're going to lose part of the ability of standing up there and doing more of the off-road riding, because narrow seat's better when you're doing off-road. So that way you can get your knees up there and grip that tank, and you have better control. If your legs are spread far apart, you can still do it, but it's more awkward, trust me. But anyway, this bike is a good bike, and I just absolutely love it. Like I said, yesterday I got the KLE 230 out, and I thought, well, I hadn't taken this thing out for a while, and that little thing is just a jewel, okay? Because I was out there, it's my dirt bike. It's got a 6-speed transmission, but it doesn't know it's only a 230, because I was out there running 65 mile an hour in that little thing there, and it was just, I'm going, this is unbelievable. So, but you always got to pick the bike for the way you're going to ride. The KLE 500 is a great intermediate bike for everything. Okay, it's not an extreme bike for anything. It's just a good intermediate bike for everything. So, like I said, I loved the NX 500, but I don't like extra electronics. I don't like anything that I think is useless. You know, keep a bike simple, and it'll keep your wallet just a little bit fatter, and it'll take a lot of worries off your riding. I think that's just my opinion. But anyway, I just wanted to do like I said, this is kind of a 700 mile. But the KLE, and I always, on some of my other videos, I keep saying KLR. It's not a KLR, it's a KLE. Not the KLR ain't a good bike, but this is a KLE 500. And as far as a bike goes, which, like I said, and I would actually recommend, you know, but go by your own recommendations. But it's a great bike. It does a little bit of everything. I have got absolutely no complaints with it, and I just think it's a fantastic machine. And I hope that it is setting a standard, just like the Tenere did for Honda and Suzuki and everybody else, to come up with something comparable. You know, and don't get me wrong, there's better bikes out there for different things. Yes, there is. But for this is just, like I said, this is for just the middle of the road, do a little bit of everything, and give you a chance to experience the entire scope of motorcycle riding. This bike does it. And it's one of the few bikes I've ever rode that actually did it, because it has good road mannerisms, it has good twisting mannerisms, it has good off-road mannerisms. It touches everything. Okay, so if that makes any sense to you. But anyway, I guess it's kind of a 700 mile review, and I still got no complaints. Like I said, the seat is a little bit, but you know, later on down the road, we'll have to see what we can do. And but anyway, hey, that's kind of if you're looking for a good bike, I do recommend it. You know, it doesn't have any shortcomings. Everything, it doesn't matter what it is, has a shortcoming. Okay. It just depends on what your expectations are. If you have high expectations and it lacks in that one high expectation, then that's bike shortcoming. Okay, so that's just the way it is. But anyway, this is my 700 mile review, and I love this bike. And hey, I'm gonna ride safe and I'm gonna ride free, and you do the same. That's enough of that.